But when we are relentless after God, He is faithful to bless and take care of us. Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to His purpose for them." God is eager to bless us. The question is whether or not we are willing to let His blessing inhabit our lives. There are two things we must do in order to ensure that God is able to work good in our lives. First, we must love Him with all our heart. And second, we must be called according to His purpose for our lives. First, let me ask you, what does it mean to love God? In Luke 10:27, the religious expert answered, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength." Think about it. Do you love God with all your heart, holding nothing back? Do you love Him with your soul, your inner thoughts and motivations? Do you love Him with your strength, seeking out ways to serve through giving your time and abilities to Him? Do you love Him with your mind and the things you think about and obsess over? Honestly, saying you love God isn't enough. Love is an action, a verb, and if you truly love God, people you have never even spoken to should be able to tell. There are problems when we don't love God in this way. We need to give Him first priority in our lives. Casually loving God will get us in trouble. In Revelation 3:16, God says, "So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I am about to spit you out of my mouth." Make sure that you have your priorities straight so that God is able to relentlessly bless you. The second thing we must do is live according to God's purpose for our lives. Notice, though, that I said His purpose, not our own selfish plan. God created us to worship Him. That's our purpose. But it's our choice whether or not we will answer His call on our lives. The Message paraphrase of Joshua 24:15 says, "If you decide that it's a bad thing to worship God, then choose a God you'd rather serve, and do it today. Choose one of the gods your ancestors worshipped from the country beyond the river, or one of the gods of the Amorites on whose land you're now living. As for me and my family, we'll worship God." When we choose to relentlessly live out God's plan for our lives, He blesses us in extraordinary ways. A few years ago, my family and I went through a particularly hard time financially. At times, I would open a cabinet looking for something to eat, only to find it and our refrigerator bare. Hardly anyone knew about our situation, and the few people that did were in tough financial situations themselves. I will never forget my joy and amazement when my mom picked me up from school one day and said that earlier that day she had walked in to see someone stocking our cabinets with yummy food. This kind gesture was such an encouragement. Throughout our hard times financially, my parents continued to obey God by tithing and just trusted Him to provide. Numerous times, people would just give us food out of the blue, and now I see that even through the tough times, God was working everything together for good. I can tell you from personal experience that the promise in the Word is true. God really does work everything together for good. Let me encourage you to live out God's purpose for your life without questioning Him. Even though what He wants you to do may seem crazy right now, He always has an amazing plan for your life. Think about it. Are you relentless after the one, God, and do you love Him with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength? Are you working to accomplish His purpose for your life and obeying Him even if you don't know where He's leading you? If so, you can be sure that God will work everything in your life out for good. Be relentless for Him because He wants to relentlessly bless you.